Yeah, they could be unforgiving when it came to very visible flaws. And even if someone could look past that, with the way my life had been back then, there hadn't been room or time for a date, let alone a relationship. Then there had been Jonathan King. He was in my history class freshman year, really cute guy, and we'd hit it off. For obvious reasons, I had been reluctant to go out with him when he asked, but damn, he'd been persistent, and I'd finally said yes. We'd gone out a few times, but as the relationship progressed and he, being a totally normal guy, had made a move on me one night when we'd been alone in my dorm, I'd been stupidly convinced that since he could see past the scar on my face, he'd been able to see past everything else. I'd been wrong. We didn't even kiss. And we sure as hell didn't go out again after that, and I hadn't told anyone about him and that disastrous night. I didn't think about him. Ever. Well, except for right now, damn it. As I watched the hot guy brigade being all hot, I was totally aware of the fact I was boy crazy due to my lack of, well, of boys in my life. Got it! My chin jerked up as Ollie rounded the couch, his girlfriend, Brittany, trailing behind him, her eyes rolling back so far in her head I thought she might pass out as she shook her head. Ollie approached the coffee table and leaned down, holding some kind of box tortoise in his hands. My brows rose as the little guy's legs wheeled. What the... "It's not a party until Ollie breaks out the turtle," said Jace, and my lips curved up in a grin. Cam sighed as he leaned around Avery. "What in the hell are you doing with Raphael?" "Correction." Ollie placed him on the table. With one hand, he brushed his shoulder-length blonde hair back behind one ear. "This is Michelangelo, and I think it's pretty fucked up you don't even know which one is yours anymore. You probably sent Raphael into a depression." "I tried to stop him," Britt said, folding her arms. The two of them looked like they finaled in the Perfect Blonde Couple Award. "But you know how he is." Everyone knew how he was. Ollie was in grad school now, to become a doctor, surprisingly, but his antics were as big a legend as the hot guy brigade. Ollie would be second to the lieutenant. He got a lot of bonus points for coming down to Shepherdstown every other weekend to see his girlfriend, and for being a shameless goofball. "As you can see, I have fashioned a new leash." He gestured at what looked like a miniature belt secured around the tortoise's shell. Cam stared up at him. "Are you serious?" "You can walk them now." And then he proceeded to demonstrate this by leading Michelangelo across the table, and I had to wonder if Avery and Cam ate off it. "It's better than yarn." Walking a turtle. That had to be worse than walking a cat. I started giggling. "It looks like a Barbie belt." "It's a designer leash," he corrected, his lips twitching. "But I did get the idea while we were in Walmart checking out the toy section." Teresa frowned. "Why were you in the toy section?" "Yeah," Jace drew the word out. "Is there something you two aren't telling us?" Britt's eyes widened. Ollie just shrugged. "I like to check out the toys. They are so much cooler now than when we were kids." This statement led to an all-out discussion about how our generation had been sorely cheated when it came to the sophistication and cool factor of today's toys, and I had to think really hard about the kind of toys I'd played with. There'd been Barbies, of course there'd been Barbies, but instead of big wheels and board games, I had satiny sashes and sparkly crowns. And then I had nothing. As the group started talking about summer plans, I tried to pay attention to where each of them was planning to go. Cam and Avery were going to spend their summer in D.C., since Cam had made it onto the United team. I'd never been to D.C., even though Shepherd wasn't too far from the capital. Britt and Ollie were doing something amazingly crazy. They were leaving a week after school let out and heading to Paris, and they were planning to road trip across Europe. I'd never been on a plane, let alone overseas. Hell, I hadn't even been to New York City. Teresa and